Hey, what's up everybody? Hammerheart Metal Reviews here once again. Today we're doing another discography countdown for you, and we're going to be talking about a band that I consider to be severely underrated, and that is Forefather. If you have not heard this band before, they are from England. It's just a two-man band. They are brothers Athelstan and Wulfstan. This is a very unique style that they play. Like, as soon as you hear it, you know that it's them. It's very easily identifiable. It's like a mix of black metal and Viking metal, but they don't really like to get classified as black metal, and for good reason. Like, that's a term that may get used here because of the raspy style of the vocals, but they coined themselves Anglo-Saxon metal, and that's probably the best description here. All their lyrics are very historically themed around England, and this is just folky, epic metal. It's full of awesome riffs, and the songs are just really well written. Like I said, it's got the black metal style raspy vocals, but also a mix of these epic clean vocals as well for a lot of the choruses to make them very catchy and very epic. With it only being a two-man band, they do use a drum machine, but it's pretty well done. It's not that noticeable, so it's not really a knock on it. I guess that could be a minor detractor if you're not really into drum machines, but nonetheless, if you're into bands such as like Falkenbach or Mythotine, this would kind of follow that same style, but not exactly either. They are uniquely their own sound here. It's very fast-paced music, yet they still have this great sense of melody, and it's full of hooks, like riffs for days here. They just have a singular focus of what they want their music to sound like with the style, with the theme of the music. There's not really any compromises or too much experimentation going on. They just make Forefather music, and it's amazingly well done. So they have 7 albums here. The last one's from 2015, so it's been quite a while. Hopefully we get a new album soon. I'm going to rank them from my least favorite down to my favorite. But I will say, before I get into the actual ranking, this was very difficult. In my opinion, this is pretty much a flawless discography. Even the things that I'm ranking like near the bottom, I still absolutely love. Like what I put in 7th, you could have in 1st, and I wouldn't necessarily say anything wrong with that because all these albums are so goddamn good. But nonetheless, these are fun lists to try to do anyways, so here I go. I'm just going to get right into it. So coming in last place in 7th, my least favorite Forefather album, but like I said, I still really enjoy this album. This is not an insult putting it last. It's just because something has to come here. I'm going to go with their 3rd album, which is from 2002, Englet Hochheim. So this one, compared to the first couple albums, it did bring in way more clean vocals, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. They are really well done, and it really gives it this truly epic flavor, this epic feel. And there's just so much melodic riffing on display here. Really found that by this 3rd album, they're really starting to come into their own, where maybe the first album was a little rougher around the edges. They really started to hone their sound here, and their songcraft was really starting to develop. This is maybe a little bit folkier than the first 2 albums. I would say there's not as much of a black metal sound on here, but I still really enjoy it. Like I said, I'm only putting this in last place because I find myself going back to some other albums more, but this is just going to be personal preference. This is still a very solid album. Don't disregard it because I'm putting it last. Definitely go still check it out. If I had to pick favorite songs on here, I'd go with the title track, and The Fate of Kings is an epic closer that's mostly an instrumental, but it's really well done, really great way to wrap up the album. So all in all, I'm putting it last, but it's still a really awesome album. Go check it out if you have not heard it. All right, up next in 6th place, I'm going all the way back to their debut, which is from 1999, Deep Into Time. So, came out of the gates firing. This is really aggressive, fast-paced, melodic riffing on display throughout this whole album. It's got their trademark, like, harsh vocals balanced with the clean, epic vocals as well. This album really set the template for their style, kind of use this as the groundwork, and then keep building upon it and improving upon it throughout their career. There are some keys used as well in minimal spots. It's not really overdone, just really helped to build the atmosphere here. This is really epic and triumphant metal. Maybe it's a little bit of a rawer production than on later albums. I would also say I think the songwriting gets better later in their career as well. But that being said, this is still a solid album, especially for a debut. Really awesome stuff. Favorite tracks here, Natural Chaos. The title track, Deep Into Time, is awesome as well. So once again, just because it's in 6th, that's not a negative. All these albums kick ass. Go check it out if you haven't. All right, now we're into the top 5. So in 5th place, I'm going with the sophomore album from the year 2000, The Fighting Man. So compared to the debut that I just talked about, the production did improve quite a bit here. The clean vocals also improved quite a bit as well. I found them a little bit more well done. More well done, that's good English, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's a very similar style here, but the songwriting got a little bit tighter. The tracks are a little more memorable and catchy. And like I said before, throughout their career and on this album as well, just rips for days. They're energetic yet melodic and furious all at the same time. Once again, there's subtle keys sprinkled in the background, and yeah, just a really solid album from start to finish. The title track, The Fighting Man, to kick off the album, really solid stuff. Together They Stood is amazing. The Paths of Yesterdays, all in all, really great stuff. In 5th place, just because I tend to go to the next 4 even more. So let's find out what order I've got those in. All right, up next in 4th place, I'm going to their second most recent album, which is from 2011, Last of the Line. So this one, wow, I haven't talked about the couple albums that preceded it yet, and it was a high bar that they set with the 2 albums that preceded this. Really hard to top those previous couple albums, but this one did come pretty close. They did start to infuse their sound with more like galloping rhythms here, kind of in like a new wave of British heavy metal style. You can see all the different influences that are on display here. But that being said, they still have their sound like rooted in their typical Forefather sound. So it's not like they're doing something completely new. They're just expanding and building upon the foundation that they set out throughout their career. And the production is really clean here. The songs are completely catchy throughout. A really solid album that you'll be singing along to. Favorite tracks, the title track, Last of the Line, By Thy Deeds, and Doomsday Dawns. All amazing songs, but really this whole album kills in 4th place. All right, that leaves 3 more to go. In 3rd place, I'm going to go to 2004 with their 4th album, Ours is the Kingdom. So yeah, once again, so many amazing riffs here. That's a common theme throughout every Forefather album. They just have so many riffs, amazing riff writers. This really has a battle-like atmosphere, and this being their 4th album, compared to the first 3, the songwriting just kept getting better. Like every album they released, they just keep improving, and it's so great here. Once again, a really good mix of clean vocals and harsh vocals, catchy heroic tales throughout this whole album that is just loaded with aggression. It's triumphant, but there's still so much melody in this guitar playing. Absolutely amazing stuff. Sing-alongable choruses that will stick in your head. Favorite tracks, The Shield Wall, the title track, Ours is Thy Kingdom, and To the Mountains They Fled is another standout for sure. But once again, another one that's pretty flawless from front to back, in 3rd place. All right, that leaves 2 more to go. What order am I going to put it in? Let's find out. All right, in 2nd place, I'm going to their newest album, which is from 2015, Curse of the Quelled. So this one is a very logical continuation and evolution of their sound throughout their career. Once again, mixes like elements of black metal, folk metal, new wave of British heavy metal, power metal, traditional metal, all thrown into a blender, but still just sounds exactly like Forefather. No one else sounds exactly like this. The lead work on this album is really outstanding. This is easily one of their best albums, in my opinion. There's just so many excellent songs and standout moments, filled with catchy choruses, riffs upon riffs upon riffs. This is epic metal at its finest, or maybe not quite its finest because I have it in 2nd place, but pretty much, yeah, one of the best bands out there in this style. I've had to pick favorite tracks on here. Havoc on Holy Island, The Anvil, Awakened Hate. All solid, another flawless album in 2nd place. So that just leaves one, my favorite Forefather album, which I think if you've never heard the band before, might be a good one to start with because it's maybe more accessible than their early material, and you'll just see exactly what their style is. Without further ado, from 2008, Steadfast, my favorite Forefather album. This is just the album that I listen to the most. That's the one I find myself going back to. It's not a knock on any of their other albums. This is just their masterpiece, in my opinion. They had their best crafted songs. The production is a little bit more polished than the early material, and it's just so catchy. The riffs are so memorable. Yeah, there's no filler here. This whole album just kicks ass. This embodies everything about their unique style. That's why I think it's a great introductory album if you have not heard the band before. It's got so much melody interwoven with this epic metal, and it's just executed perfectly. Really awesome stuff. Favorite tracks, I mean this whole goddamn album, but the title track, Steadfast, you'll be singing along in no time. Steadfast! Brunenberg, probably can't pronounce that properly. Theodish Belief. All in all, another one from start to finish that does not let up, that's just absolutely amazing. And that is why it is my favorite Forefather album. So anyways, if you haven't heard this band before, definitely go check them out. If you have heard them, I'd love to get your take down below. Let me know a ranking for you. What is your favorite albums by them? What did you think of this list? These are just my thoughts and opinions as usual. And until next time, Hammer Heart Metal Reviews, out.